But I'm just going to use the... I'm not going to use the audio right now.
I was brought to the Zolman Zoo. Coming at you live from the Zolman Zoo. My name is Dory Nemo. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to take you on a journey through a special animal here at the zoo, an otter named Isabella. Before I tell you the story about our lovely friend Isabella, I think it's important for you to know a little bit of background information on what Oxbow Park is all about. They take animals that are in the wildlife and that are injured and suffering, and they take them here to give them a habitat that they can survive in. Hey buddy, come here.
Well.
And this is Isabella. She is a new baby otter that has been recently introduced to the Zolman Zoo after being found caught in a stray net in the northern Minnesota wetlands. While all the human visitors to the zoo love the cute baby otter, she has had trouble integrating into the habitat. The other otters in the zoo refuse to play with her since they view her as a trespasser in their territory. And Isabella desperately misses the open waters of her home. She is losing weight rapidly, has lost her playfulness, and is drowning in a sense of hopelessness. With me being Dory Nemo, I think it's very important for Isabella to just keep eating. Just keep eating. So this is Dory Nemo here, and I am meeting with the specialist here at the Zolman Zoo. And what's your name?
Clarissa.
Clarissa. And we have a couple questions for you. Is that okay?
Yes.
Perfect. One of our questions is for Isabella. She came in here into a new habitat. What accommodations are you providing her to, make friends with the other otters and make sure that she's not isolated?
Well, first off, we have to do a lot of work when it comes to introductions with new animals into the old animals. One of the first things we would do is before we even introduce Isabella into the new otter into the otter exhibit, we're going to take something from our otter exhibit that smells like our current otters and put it in with her. Vice versa, we'll take something, a toy from her, and move that in with the current otters, so they both then get those scent crosses. What we can try then to start with is to take Isabella and we'll crate her in a kennel that we can transport her from our quarantine area, because while she's quarantined, she's away from all the other animals to make sure no germs are transmitted that way. So we'll bring her over, we'll put her on exhibit in that crate with the two otters that we have now. They'll have to stay that way though in the crate, and we'll monitor them for at least a half hour to see how they interact through that crate, so they have that barrier, that protection.
Okay.
From there, we can make the judgment call. Things are smooth.
If it's safe to
we
let
can
them
open it up. From there, then, to say it is smooth, we open it up. We will watch them. We'll monitor their behavior
closely
throughout the whole day. We'll do half-hour checks for sure. We'll watch that first half hour after we release her in with the other ones. If something were to go downhill and not positive, if there are interactions that weren't going well, say she is holding up and they're chasing her up in the tank and not letting her down in the rest of the exhibit, then we're going to have to start separating our two current ones. So most likely what we'll do is we'll leave the female out there, pull our male. We'll put the male in quarantine. He gets to smell Isabella, the new otter, get very familiar with it out there, and the old female will be with the new female so they can interact together.
Okay.
Females are less likely to be aggressive.
Okay.
Hopefully. Doesn't always prove to be true. We'll see how it starts. That's the route we would start with. From there then, we'll give them about a week, 5 days to a week, the 2 ladies together. Then we're going to take the female out of there, the old female out of there, put her in quarantine, take the male out of quarantine, just put the male and Isabel, the new otter, and then see how those two interact. Well, again, we'll do the 5 to 7 days, seeing how they interact, just the 2 of them. If everything's going smoothly, then we'll try again to get our old female otter, then with the old male and the new female. So we'll try all 3 together at that point.
Awesome. Looks like they do a great job at making sure that animals are staying safe and getting along well with the other otters in their habitat.
They each get 2.5 pounds a day. We feed them twice though, so we split that in half.
Okay.
We also feed a feline supplement chow. It's a Missouri brand exotic feline chow that we feed in addition on Wednesday and Friday afternoons. That's just to supplement any of those areas where we're missing out. Fish that are frozen, fish that are filleted out. You're missing out on some of your calcium, some of those essential nutrients that they need. So we just supplement.
To make sure that they get them at those times. Okay.
That's for both, you have a male and female now?
Yep.
Okay.
So they get a cup each on Wednesday and Friday
of the
afternoons.
supplement.
Yep.
Another question I had was in regards to like kind of our main focus here is like mental health, and the focus of this topic was depression.
Okay.
You know, if you see animals that are expressing, you know, sort of like being down or maybe depressed or, you know, are showing signs of that, is there any like thing that you guys do or any steps that you take in that, or?
That one's tough.
Yeah.
Because there's a very anthropomorphic mentality then on that. Because how do we know?
How do you know if they're depressed? Yeah, exactly.
So what our goal is, we have an enrichment program. Enrichment is anything that's new, anything that's different for them. So every day they get new toys. Every day we try to move, if we can move crops around, so any of their logs, any of their natural features in there, we'll move them around. It changes things up and it's a new sense for them to smell because they are in that same enclosure all the time. Then also we have huge cabinets full of enrichment foods, enrichment scents and spices and perfumes, all different kinds of human things or natural things too. So we can always move in pine boughs, we can move antlers around. We have lots of antlers, horns, skulls, pieces of wood, logs, boughs, pine boughs, all those things we can throw in their exhibits to change things up. And we do that on a daily basis because they need that. That's as essential for their health as anything else when it comes to food, diets, and even vet care. So feeding them and making sure they have that enrichment on a daily basis.
So I would assume that the diet that you provide them are foods that they would see in nature. It's not like food that's preservatives in there that is meant to give them all the nutrition. It's more natural food that they would use.
Yes, the actual diets. So we get lots of carp donated to us because of bow fishermen. We get trout donated to us through the DNR fish hatcheries. We get lots of other fish just donated to us from people who have caught fish, left them in the freezer for too long and don't want to eat them anymore because they might be freezer burnt. All that stuff is good. We can do shrimp though sometimes. We give them some exotics, but for the most part they're getting carp and trout. And then there are those human foods, like I was saying, so that some of it would have the preservatives. It could be chocolate sauce, mustard, ketchup, all different kinds of things that are safe for animals, and that's at a very small amount. So like a teaspoon at most for each, because they're tiny little animals. They don't need a lot of it.
Yeah.
So any of that stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Good. You might be wondering who Dr. Zolman is.
Because I'm back.
What is the zoo not big enough for the both of us?